Hello, welcome to RAK Studios. I'm Emma Townsend, I'm the studio manager. Come in.
RAK's been going since 76. It's set up by Mickie Most, a pretty legendary producer, and he set up this sort of magnificent building, the whole block in St John's Wood. Built 3 studios, a publishing company and a record company.
His team that he brought here to RAK all stayed for 40 years. So it very much has always had the atmosphere of like a family business. The core team is very small. Everyone who's worked here has worked here forever, knows each other really well. So it has like a very low-key family vibe. You know, it's little bands, there's big projects all in at the same time and everyone sort of mixes together.
Welcome to RAK Studio 2. This room has been here since about 1976. It's one of the original studios at RAK. A lot of independent bands use this, like 4-piece bands, and it's booked a lot for drum recording sessions. Come with me up to the control room. This is the control room of RAK Studio 2. We have a vintage 70s API console in here, which also went in 1976.
In terms of outboard in every room, we've just got a really good collection of vintage compressors and EQs. And we've got loads of floating stuff, and we really want people to use it as much as possible. We're really happy when clients request a lot of stuff. And we also really like weird little microphones, like we've got these little Fisher-Price microphones and like talkback mics. It doesn't all have to just be expensive gear. Sometimes you can get a lot out of funky old techniques as well.
Welcome to the new renovated RAK Studio 4. This studio was renovated early 2022 and has been open since the summer of 2022.
My favourite room to mix in is this one. It's an amazing space to spend your days in, and it sounds so good. When we designed and rebuilt the room, we wanted it to be a multi-use space. We knew we wanted it to have Atmos and make it cutting edge in that way. The key was having the right equipment, so we've gone for a lot of old school equipment in for outboard, but we wanted the rest of it, especially with the Atmos, to be cutting edge and had to sound amazing, and the Matrix does that. So we got the Avid Matrix, we got the dock, and we've got a couple of S1s just for that sort of tactile feel, so you're sort of more engaged with the music rather than it just being a digital space. So the Avid Matrix in this space, it's basically the hub of the whole studio. The playback from Apple Music goes through it. We've got the Dante card, and we've got, I think, 24 analog I/O as well. So all the outboard routes through it, so you can be mixing entirely in the box and then send inserts going through all the amazing outboard. And the Matrix just sounds amazing. It's probably the best sounding converter I've ever heard.
Have plaques on the wall here of some of the iconic records that have been made at RAK over the years. Sam Smith, Dua Lipa, Harry Styles. This is RAK Studio 1. It's the home of many iconic records such as The Cure's Pornography, Pogue's Fairy Tale of New York, and Radiohead The Bends, amongst many others.
I think my favourite room to record in is probably Studio 1. Just because of the sound of it. It's warm, it's not too harsh, and really anyone who comes out of it with something sounding bad, you know they've done a terrible job. It's a lot harder to get something sounding bad in that room than it is to get it sounding good, so it makes our life easy.
Here we are in Mickie Most's office. It is still as it was 20 plus years ago.
He was pretty much a visionary who Simon Cowell's sort of based his whole career on. He did Hot Chocolate and The Animals, amongst others.
Here is one of our guest books. We tend to give it to artists when they've been in for a while with us and ask them to sign it. So yeah, if we flick it open here, we've got one from Plan B, Arctic Monkeys, we sort of give it to artists and then they can have a flick through and see who's been in before, and then hopefully get a bit competitive with their artwork and write a little message.
I love RAK because it is incredibly easy to get great sound, which is a great base level, but what that lets you do is jump off and start looking for really interesting and experimental sounds. Everything always works, the assistants are fantastic, the rooms are beautiful, the gear is just really great. It sort of spoils you for going anywhere else.